Good morning. Good morning. I think they deserve it. I want to first apologize for looking so good. I tried to tone it down, but every time I tried on something, I was looking better and better. So I thought I'd stop here. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting ready for a little birthday celebration this afternoon. There's a lot of folks from Guidance there, and a lot of folks from the LA 3rd, and numbers trying to go up from 150 and on, and I'm telling you, food's going to be good, and you didn't get in, it's too late now. Ron Turner is providing the music for his band, the Fashion Statement. I don't know how many of you know Lynette Dupree, one of the lead soloists at LA 3rd, but she's a very popular actress and singer. She'll be there with her group, the Divas. And so we'll have a great time. But I'm here to take care of some business. And this will be a two-parter since I'm here next week. This will be part one, and next week will be part two. We do have some pass outs. If you raise your hands, I'm sure you'll get one if you didn't get one, if you don't have one, because I'd like you to read something with me, along with me. Now, how many of you have not heard of this thing called the Serenity Prayer? You shouldn't raise your hands because you should have heard of it by now. How many of you don't have, this is a rhetorical question, you don't have to raise your hands, I'm just saying in your mind, have used the Serenity Prayer? And how many of you have committed it to memory that's in your brain, your mind, and then how many of you have eaten it, spiritually speaking, assimilated it from sense to soul, you got it in your heart, and you walk by it, you live by it, the Serenity Prayer. I thought I did too, up until Tuesday here. I noticed you guys don't mention the announcements about the Tuesday workshop, so let me tell you, is that we will be continuing the Tuesday morning workshops here from 10 to 12, right? And it will continue to the end of October. Then we will take a break and resume after we discuss it with the church next year, but we won't meet every Tuesday, but for a set of weeks, like a set of 6 weeks, maybe 3 or 4 times during the year. And so moving on from there, this is where the core of the message comes out of our Tuesday meetings, because we were led into teaching the Serenity Prayer, and I only realized then that I didn't know what the Serenity Prayer was truly all about. Because the revelation was given us in that Tuesday experience. We were on it for 3 or 4 weeks, but I'm going to condense it to two sessions for you. This is what was given to us. If you have it, I want you to read the Serenity Prayer with me in the first part. I'll read it through one time, and then I'll ask you to read it with me. It says, God grant me. So we want to break it down. We want to analyze it. We want to dissect it. We want to, do a diagram of it. God grant me. It starts off like our Father. It starts off opening your mind to something. It starts off making a request. God grant me. You're asking for something. God grant me. Grant me for thee. Then it lists some elements here. What you're asking God to grant you. God grant me first serenity. We're going to break it down. Look in the house. God grant me the serenity, but then it's followed by a powerful, powerful word, an article, to. Now, before you go past that to, you have to realize it's obvious that something is following. Your to what is what you want to ask. And then it lists what you're asking God to grant you serenity to. Another word could be for. To do something. But it's saying, God, you're asking God, God, grant me, give me. That's what I would say grant me is, what you say? Enable me, empower me, help me. God, grant me the serenity to. We're going to break this thing down, serenity. But the first step in a healing strategy technique that we're using here, one of 4 steps, starts with this serenity. It says that first I must have serenity to. The serenity precedes your ability to, your power to. Before you can do anything, you're saying, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. So my topic today is how to accept. How to accept the things you cannot change. And my topic for next week is coming from the next point here, the next element. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can. When you can't change the things you don't change the things you can until you first accept the things that you cannot change. The courage to change the things I can, and Lord, please, give me the wisdom to know the difference. And so that's where our complexity is today. That's where our confusion is today. We got it all mixed up. The things that you can change, you've accepted as things you cannot change. And the things you cannot change, you're messing up your life and living 79 years before you know that you cannot change those things. Then you wake up and you got 3 years left. You see what I'm saying? Ooh, life is beautiful. Let's read this together. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So I'd like you to bring up in your consciousness now that thing that bothers you most in life. That's something that's been annoying you and hanging on for years and years and months or days and days. You've been dealing with the same old mess too long. Bring that thing up. The most serious medical condition, come on, let's bring it up. The most serious, painful impasse in a relationship, come on, bring it up. Hold it in your mind and let's heal it today. Oh, I went through something a few Sundays ago. I was called to speak at Third Church first Sunday of last month, I believe. And I got up that morning, just 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning was my time. I was going to prepare for my message for today. And I was cleaning up my area, around my desk, and I was opening this. I put this here. Just organized. You gotta get organized before you can get stuck. And I opened a letter. And I shouldn't open it. But you know how the ego is? You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. The ego meant for me to open it, get my mind messed up. And it was successful. I was so distraught. I was so discombobulated. I was so all upset. It was just a straw. You know the straw that breaks the camel's back? It was that straw on my morning. I'm ready. And I couldn't get it together from that point to the time I stood up to talk. And my topic was the Serenity Prayer. So I'm repeating here today what I did there already. So I went through my hookup process. Said, Lord, this is on you. I'm just going to stand here and you use me. And I made a spiritual breakthrough. Because before I stood up, all the way to church, I just had knots in my stomach, knots in my heart. I was just in pain through a problem. And so while I was talking, it was revealed to me that, not that I didn't already know this, and it's not that you don't already know this, but that second step, courage to change the things I can, I had not stepped up to change things that I knew that I could. Because see, the closer you get to truth, the stronger fear becomes. Do you hear what I'm saying? The fear of love is one of your greatest fears. Because in order for me to enact this, it would be an act of love for the other person involved. Do you see what I'm saying? And as a result, I accepted it up to that second, up to that time, as this is something I cannot change. But when I decided to do what I know I need to do, the courage to change the things I can, I left there that Sunday just as light and free and healed. And I've held on to it from that point to now. But ask me if the situation has changed that caused this in the first place. Absolutely not. Same old man, same old stuff, but no knots, no pain, no hurt. Because I have made a decision and I have put a date on it. And it's going to happen. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. And I don't care about that. But I know my healing came right here. Distinguishing between the things I cannot change and the things I can. And I've got the wisdom to know the difference. What's your stuff? You better look all into my business. What's yours? Can't be more. What's yours? Bring yours up. Bring yours up. Now, did you put it on the category of things that you cannot change? Think about it. Or is it something that you can change and you just don't have the courage to make the change? You're going to leave here today knowing. And then next week the topic is how to do it. The courage to change the things I can. So the step one is serenity. Step one of this process, and the step two is acceptance. You heard the reading from the SOM textbook. Step three is facts versus reality. And step four is I have no use for this. Let's look at step one. What does serenity mean? You say, God grant me serenity. God help me chill. See, you got to chill first. You have to know how to enter into that place of stillness, that place of tranquility, peace. Hold on to your composure and your self-control. Hold on to your self-assurance and your self-confidence in the midst of the situation. That thing that you just brought up. You can't lose your composure. You can't be moved from your place of stillness and tranquility. So that morning when I woke up, I lost my composure. I lost my tranquility, my peace, my poise. And driving all the way from Long Beach to the Upper Marina where they were holding the meeting or a picnic that day, I was no serenity. My serenity came when I stood up to speak. And I did my thing with the Holy Spirit. I hooked up, opened my mouth, and what you were about to hear came through. First, you want serenity. So understand when you're using this prayer, you're asking God to grant you serenity. It's like the spiritual mind treatment. It's a prayer. It's a prayer. It is a prayer. It is a prayer. And you're praying right then. You're asking for serenity. Then you declare that you are in that state of serenity and hold on to it so that, I look at it with the analogy of going to a chiropractor, orthopedic, or a person like that. You're out of alignment, you broke a bone, or you're putting a cast on it. The doctor doesn't heal. They set the position, right? They put things in position so that healing can take place. They're trained and they're artistic. That's what you're doing when you are You're getting to that place of serenity. You're getting your mind still so that healing can flow through your stuff and your mess. Get your mind still so that. Because it says to. God grant me the serenity to. You got to stop thinking about it. You got to stop worrying about it. You got to let it go. And then when you say grant me the serenity to, that means that, wait a minute, you missed something. You're going to wait for God to do it. You say, God grant me. Grant me the serenity so that I can. Don't we just want God to want a miracle? Well, it's going to take a miracle for it to happen without you doing what you need to do. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. What are the things that you cannot change? Now you're waiting for me to tell you? Don't work like that. In serenity, it will be revealed to you. It will be shown to you. Now, if you want somebody to tell you, then you got to get somebody who's got a different card than we carry. You want to go to a psychiatrist or psychologist or a counselor or somebody who gives advice. One of the first things that we are taught in training is you don't give advice. How are you going to give advice? We teach you how to think, not what to think. I can't tell you. And the other thing that I cannot tell you is which is in this category or that category for you. See, the thing that you cannot change, your neighbor is something, oh, I can handle that. I can change. So it's all relative. So you're going to tell somebody else, you can change, you can't tell them that. It can go from level to level depending on you, depending on each individual. I can't tell you that. But it will be revealed to you. It will be shown to you. You will know. Accept the things that I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I'm going to come back to that, but let's go to courage. See, now you're in that place where you know you can, but you also know, come on, be truthful, you don't have the courage. If you had the courage, you would. Courage means the spirit, the bravery, fearlessness, the nerve, the guts. And why don't you have the courage? Because you know what's going to happen when you do. When you make that decision, stuff going to fan. I ain't like that. It's in the book of life. Something's going to happen. There's going to be some reverberations. There's going to be some effects. There's cause and effects. There's going to be some shifting. There's some positions are going to be shifting. Changes are going to happen. And you already know that. That's why you don't make the change. Things are going to change in your life. And you know how that's going to affect your life. So you're afraid to make the change, and then you put it on the shelf of, I cannot change. Oh no, not true. The wisdom, what is the wisdom? The wisdom to know the difference. The understanding. Give me the knowledge, give me the sense, but the key word is perception. Change my perception about the situation so that I will be empowered with the courage to change the things I can, and also the wisdom to understand that the things I cannot change, I cannot exchange, so let me, step two, accept it. Excuse me, I'm showing out, but let me go to step two again. See, the things that you cannot change, learn to shut your what? Mouth. Stop complaining about it. Stop whining about it. Stop being mad about it. Let go of your anxiety. Put your blood pressure pills in the trash and accept it. blood pressure will regulate. Arthritis, stop hurting. It'll flee. All the other isms and itises will flee and find somebody else to run to. Because it ain't going nowhere. It can go from you, but it ain't gone. And it'll come back when you need it. Accept. The second step is acceptance. Let's go to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Y'all ready? Come on. Knock on the door. We all in here together. All alcoholics, right? And the first rule is to introduce yourself. And you stand up and say, I am Bill Garner. And I am an alcoholic. That's when he come in there. He been going every Tuesday now, right? And so about 30 days later, he's still going because he's made up his mind that he's sick and tired of being sick and tired, but he's still sick. 30 days later, he's still standing up there. I am Bill Garner. I am an alcoholic. Around that 60 days, he's feeling, this stuff is getting better every day and every way. I'm getting better and better here. About 6 months later, he hasn't had a drink in a long time. And he found, hey, this stuff works every day and every way. Well, why? It's because he's accepted it. They have taught him how to accept it. And when you accept it, all fear is gone. All agitation is gone. All everything that's supported is gone. But you say, well, why am I accepting it now? I'm going to tell you next week. You accept it. Accept it. Step 3, you learn to separate facts from reality. You're not accepting it as real. It's not the reality of it. You're accepting it as a fact. Facts are temporary. The only support it has is the support your mind gives it. But you might have to do some little transformation with the fact. So it can learn that it is nothing, and it was always nothing trying to be something, and it was something as long as you made it something. Separating facts from reality is step number 3, but let's go back to acceptance. Tennyson, the philosopher, said, more things are wrought by prayer than this world can imagine. Now, Brother Ernest's home spirit is alive in this place. Brother Morgan, Brother Hornaday, Brother Nirvana, Brother Ola, Sister Lisa, your spirit is always with you if you're open and receptive to letting them help you. I don't have a problem with it. I have helpers. And the reason that you hear me speak the way you speak is because I'm open to let them use my tongue. Oh, yeah. What is it that you accept? You don't accept the alcoholism. You don't accept the problem. You don't accept the thing that you just brought up. I said bring it up so we can heal it. But first you have to accept it. What is it that you accept? You accept something behind you, not the thing itself. That's a fact. I just read it, wisdom, to know the difference. Perception. What you accept is your present perception that's giving it effect, giving it life, giving it power, giving it life, giving it intelligence and power to hurt you, to harm you, to keep you discombobulated. You have to learn how to divorce and detach yourself from the effect, from the problem, the thing that you just brought up. And what you want to accept is the fact, not the reality, which is in your perception. Accept that right now. What are you're accepting the way you see it. You're accepting the way you look at it. You're accepting your nastiness. That's all right. Your ugliness. That's all right. Your fear. That's all right. Your anxiety, that's all right. Your sickness, however it's manifesting, just accept. I am an alcoholic, just accept it. You're not accepting the fact that you're an alcoholic, you're accepting all your earthly and spiritual experience before you took on the human nature. You're accepting all of that brought it to pass. You're not separating yourself from cause. Right now, what why is me? Why is this happening? That's the wrong why. There's two whys. Why looking for blame, and why looking for purpose. Yeah, I'm bad. Two whys. Job asked him, why? 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 But he was asking the wrong why. When he shifted from that why to the other why, Lord, what you want me to do with this? What is it for? What is its purpose? When you ask that why, it's revealed. When you go ahead and accept it, what are you accepting? I'm accepting the fact that my life, even though I'm 70 today, my life did not begin in 1946, September 22nd. My life continued. And when I step out of this shell, move on out, and continue to grow from plane to plane, and make a decision to not return, but to incarnate again, I'll remember your faces. I'll remember all the good deeds, and I'll remember those who was not at that party today. When I see you again, we're going to have a problem. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what you got to accept. So whatever it is that you're experiencing, it didn't have its genesis of start in 1918, 1969, no. So therefore, you have no idea where it came from, because there's some omission, some commission, some sin, something that, who cares? It's not time to start analyzing, dissecting, and diagnosing, and psychoanalyzing, and all of that mess. Accept what it is right now, because nothing happens divorced of your previous experience. It says acceptance and realization, right? Your teacher said it. He said accept. In that third step of the spiritual mind treatment, I accept this problem. And what I'm accepting is not the arthritis, not the high blood pressure, not the ain't got enough itis and you know, lonely nuts and stuff, most of on some shop when you need my dental school, all that stuff. You have to learn how to speak in tongues. So everybody got that, right? Everybody heard in his own language, right? Accept it. Now, when you accept it, the power in the thing leaves to be able to affect you or to harm you. And then after acceptance, you got to go ahead and empower yourself with the ability, the courage to take some action. And you will be revealed, it will be revealed to you what you are to do and not do. Sometimes as I need do nothing. But you will know. In the Science of Mind reading, Dr. Armstrong says, acceptance and realization. These words are fraught with the greatest meaning to the one who wishes to consciously use the creative power of thought for definite purposes. Acceptance and realization are mental qualities and may be consciously generated. But I like how he said acceptance and realization. We just shoot the realization. But you jumped over a powerful word. Acceptance, accept what you are realizing in your life. Did I read it right? Accept what you are realizing in your life, and you're realizing in your life the result of your prayers. Every word is a prayer. Every thought is a prayer. So if you call it arthritis or high blood pressure, since that's what most of us are dealing with, you know, let's go ahead and deal with that. That comes from my prayer, my thoughts, my experience, but also realize that when, A Course in Miracles puts it this way. When I am healed, I am not healed alone. And it says, ideas leave not their source. Realize that you are interconnected. Your life is intertwined with your son's life, with your husband's life, with your nieces and your nephews and your uncles and your aunts and your mamas and your papas and your friends and your neighbors and your employers and employees and every human being on the earth. So we're part of an intellect. So we're linked in, right? Yeah. Well, how are you doing? Ain't coming from Marburg? Breathing into your consciousness, into your life. You don't know. But everybody has had some effect on your life, and you have had some effect on everybody, on somebody else's life. So how do you know that this healing that will be manifested through you is not for you, but for somebody else? What is it for? What is its purpose? That comes down here on the back side of the page. And I'm not going to have time. That's why we have part 1 and part 2. So I'm going to wrap you up and get you ready for coming back to part 2. Step 3. Separating facts from reality. You see, everything we're in reality. Realization. Realize that everything that you're experiencing comes from your past. Don't try to run from it. Accept it. Life is mirroring your mind. Your life is a mirror of your mind. That means symptoms, psychosomatic, symptoms in your life mean problems in your life, troubles in your life, blessings in your life is a mirror of your mind. So, therefore, you accept them and bless them. It's an answered prayer. You think answered prayer is only good stuff. Everything is answered prayer. Somehow, somewhere, you just don't see the connection. So step 4, which we'll develop next week, is, I want you to say it with me. I have no use for this. Come on. I have no use for this. Come on. I have no use for this. Oh, no. See, I stood up there on that Sunday morning a month ago, and I said to myself, I have no use for this. But there's one word that goes with that, anymore. Up until that point, I had use for it. Up until that point, it was serving me. Up until that point, I thought I knew what it was for, and the way that was getting my attention is according to what I was thinking that it was for. But when I walked away, I had no use for this. So I just went back and had a little conversation. You know what? Am I drinking? It ain't my problem no more. It's your problem. Doesn't bother me anymore. I did share the story, but I shared it again. I took care of my mother practically alone. Well, I had heart help, but they had to, when they leave, they're losing with you, right? But for years, while I was raising 3 children at the same time in the house, that was a lot of pressure. And during this time, I had a hard time with my mother. You know, my mother would have visitors, and she was just the happiest thing in the world. As soon as the door closed, transport. Lord have mercy. I'm hoping they don't never leave. You know, and one day she said, you don't like me, do you? I know you don't like me. Well, I loved her, but she was telling the truth. I never told her, but I did. But there was nobody I loved more. And I demonstrated that in my care for her. But the point is that she had a pain, a deep pain, that she only really opened up to with me, but I was the object of her projection of her pain. And so I was there to absorb it. But I had to learn it. And then let it be all right. And then serve her with a smile. Yeah. So that was a sacrifice of love. Do you see what I'm saying? Then there was something that I carried anger towards her for a long time, until it fell under the sickness and the symptom of resentment. And I resented her for decisions that she had made, which impacted my life directly forever with what I had to do. And then when I look back on my life, I found that I was sort of manipulated into this. Do you see what I'm saying? I thought. That's where my resentment was. Why would you? Then what happened is that she had no serious medical condition except for one, chronic arthritis. And it was painful for her to the point that they put the fentanyl. Fentanyl, what is it called? Y'all ain't no drug addicts. Look at it. Fentanyl is a narcotic, you know, and people who are in excruciating pain, they put a patch there and make them rest, you know, subside the pain. And then what happened was, there was a period of time when I would go to bed, and I'm telling you that arthritis would hit me. The pain, you know. But I never went to the doctor for it because living around her, I could understand the symptoms. And then what happened for me was God grant me this, I'm closing with this, to help you know the things I cannot change and the things I can. I accepted that as my lot in life in terms of all of the stuff that I was dealing with, until it was revealed to me. Now, what am I trying to heal here now? The symptoms of this pain and the leg and neck and all this kind of stuff. I saw that if I accept this as something that I cannot change, my life is going to be like hers. So I, through my training, meditation, and spiritual mind treatment, my perception was changed. Didn't I tell you we started off? It's not the effect, it's not the arthritis, it's your perception. It's not the impasse in the relationship, it's your perception. That's where the things that you cannot change is that effect. The things that you can change is your perception. And when you change your perception, the effect can do one of two things. It can flee or it can stay. But if it stays, it's just as well as flee. It ain't gonna bother you. Did y'all hear me? Yeah. And what revealed to me, the truth was revealed to me this way. This is after she was gone. It's when I started having the problems that I'm having now that morphed into this thing. Spirit said to me, now all this time, you have been angry with her. It turned into resentment. Now it's manifesting in this symptom. But can you now see that what you were angry with her about and you resented about her for so long, that you're now doing the same thing? That you are now doing the same thing, the caring for, the rescuing, the sacrificing your life for. And now you told her that you could have chosen differently, that was your choice. But now, do you see that it wasn't your choice? You didn't have a choice. Did y'all catch that? Yes. You did it because you felt you had no choice. And you're angry and resented her for doing what she did, telling her that she had a choice. She had the same choice you had. But you chose not to choose, but to do. And when I accepted that, I haven't had any experience of that stuff from that day to this day. Acceptance. And then courage to act, the wisdom to know the difference, and so it is. All right! So let's stand for a question. Whoa! My God, is so good. Yes, she is. Yes, he is. Yes, it is. Lord, we just want to thank you for the visitation to this place today of the Holy Spirit. As I sat on the chair waiting to come forward, I asked for your help. As I sat on the chair, I surrendered my mind to your mind. Then I prayed and I said, Lord, use my tongue. Speak to me. Speak to me in the unknown tongue. Speak to me in the language that you know that each of the hearers will understand, so they each may hear in their own tongue, in their own language, in their own understanding. And Lord, you have demonstrated that in this place today. Now let me know even higher, and then let them know even greater and deeper, that the words that they have heard have fallen on fertile and receptive soil. And those words which were not mine, hey, but yours that you spoke through me, are words of healing power, with healing balm. And then let me know and agree with them as they agree with me, that as we leave this place, we're going to hold on to the healing that has happened here. Because everybody in here said, oh yeah, I see. And that was the healing. That was a shift in perception, a shift in thinking, a shift in understanding. And with this healing in their and mine and our perception, we're going to move on out from it and stay in the answer. And stay in the answer with your help. Stay in the answer. And we're going to seal it, suture it right now with the highest state of gratitude and acceptance as we say, thank you, Father, Mother God. Amen. And so it is.